Hi guys, welcome to Masombula Tutorials. My name is Vusi, my surname is Mkonto. So I'm a student at University of Venda and I'm a language specialist. So today guys, we are introducing a grammar. Initially, what is grammar? Grammar, it is a set of rules used in language. So any rule that applies or that we are going to apply in language, it falls under grammar. And then we are having three pillars of grammar in language, or we can say grammar, it has three parts. One, we are having parts of speech. Two, we are having inflection. Three, we are having syntax or syntax. When we're talking about part of speech, we're talking about adjectives, verbs, prepositions, and other parts of speech. We did them in our or during our first tutorial. But that's where we distinguished between primary parts of speech and secondary parts of speech. So mainly in grammar, we use primary parts of speech. Adjectives, verbs, prepositions, like that and like that. And then inflection, it is the formation of new words. And then syntax or syntax, it is the arrangement of sentences, how sentences are arranged, blah 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 blah. We're going to do that, you'll see. And then specifically, let's go to nouns. What is a noun? The general or the basic definition to explain or to define a noun, we usually say it's a naming word. In English language, we don't accept the definition whereby students or learners can say it is a name of a thing. A question like, what is a thing, can come. What is inside a thing can come. So it is like that, guys. An acceptable definition of a noun, we say it's a naming word. And then we're having many types of nouns. So in this tutorial, I've just or I will just mention 7 types of nouns, which are common nouns, abstract nouns, collective nouns, proper nouns, compound nouns, countable as well as non-countable nouns. So specifically, common nouns are the words of everything or the names of everything. Usually we use common nouns in our everyday life. Going to abstract nouns. Abstract nouns, it is a noun or a nouns that describe non-physical things. And then the thing part, now it appears. We don't say things, we say objects. Abstract nouns are nouns that describe non-physical objects. You rather say objects than things, because what are things? And then going straight to collective nouns. Collective nouns are nouns that refer to some sort of collective or a group. A bunch of flowers, an army of ants, a class of learners or students, a choir of singers. Those are collective nouns. And then going to proper nouns, it is or are formal names of people, places, and etc. and etc. So like Mpumalanga, it's the name of a province. Hazy View, it's the name of a town, like that and like that. Vusi, it's the name of a person. And then proper, or we are from proper. Compound nouns. Compound nouns are nouns that made by two existing words. This word plus this word, it gives us another word. I will also include examples. And then going to countable nouns. Countable, you can count them. These are words of objects. You see, I'm saying words of objects, not words of things. I'm avoiding the thingy part. Words of objects that can be counted. And then obviously non-countable, it is the opposite of countable. Non-countable nouns are the words of objects that you cannot count. You cannot count sugar. You cannot count rice, like that and like that. But you can count cars, you can count learners, students, like that and like that. And then going to a verb. What is a verb? A verb, we usually say a verb, it's a doing word. Yes, fine, it is acceptable. You can be marked correct. But as English language students or learners, we must equip our language and say a verb, it is an action word. Obviously, and a verb portrays action, conveys someone doing action or an object doing an action. So we are having a categories of verbs, or verbs are categorized into many categories, but I've just prepared 8 of them today on this or during this tutorial. Number 1, we have auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb. I heard someone saying auxiliary. Yeah, some they say there is no master of pronunciation, but auxiliary, we are English language practitioners or students, so we need to be equipped about how we pronounce such English words, as we are going to delve on English structure next time. So auxiliary verbs are verbs that are used with the main verb. Some they say auxiliary verbs are helping verbs, or a helper verb. So what are helper verbs, or what are auxiliary verbs? Are verbs that expresses the tense, mood, or voice of the verb. That is why we say they are helper verbs. And we are having examples of auxiliary verbs. When we say it is raining, it is raining. The sentence "it is raining," the main verb, as we say, auxiliary verb, they help the main verbs, or they help the main verb. When making an example of an auxiliary verb, this sentence says it is raining. So raining, it is the main verb, is, it is the helping verb. It helps the main verb. That's an auxiliary verb. And then another verb, we have a linking verb. It is a verb that connects the subject of the sentence with the subject of the complement. So this verb, as they say, it is a linking. It links two things, or two parts. First, the subject of the sentence, and then the complement, or the subject of the complement. So a linking verb links the subject of the sentence as well as the subject of the complement. For an example, it sounds bad. It sounds bad. It sounds bad. Sounds, it is a linking verb. Bad, it is the subject of the complement. Bad, it is the complement. It sounds bad. So it is the subject of the sentence. Bad, it is the complement. So sounds, the word sounds link it and bad. So it is the linking verb. I feel sad. I, it is the subject of the sentence. Feel, it is the linking verb. Sad, it is the subject of the complement. So now feel links the two, I and sad. I feel sad. And then when going to phrasal verb, what is a phrasal verb? So these are two or more words that together act as a complete new verb. Examples of phrasal verbs: go along, wipe out, make for, pass on, or pass out, check off. So those are as they're saying, those are two or more words that together act as a complete new verb. They are two, wipe and out. Together they make a complete verb. And then we are going straight to gerunds. What are gerunds? Some they say gerunds. Gerunds are nouns that act as verbs with an addition of ing. That are gerunds or gerunds. You notice or you identify gerunds with that ing. For an example, swimming, cooking, like that and like that. Writing, there's an addition of ing. That are gerunds or gerunds. And then we are going to irregular verbs. What are irregular verbs? These are the verbs that does not follow the normal tense pattern. We are having irregular and we are having regular. So irregular verbs, when we say go and then went, go, it is the present tense of the verb, and then went, it is the past tense of the verb. Buy, bought, go, went, drink, drank. And then regular verbs, we say move, moved. You see, regular verbs, they add ed on the verb, while irregular verbs, they don't add an ed, but the verb changes to be another form. Go, went. You see, there's a change. Buy, bought. Drink, drank. But regular, they add an ed. Move, moved. Call, called. Ask, asked. Like that and like that. And then let's go to prepositions. The usage of prepositions. Prepositions are used to express a number of relationships, including time, location, place, or direction. So there are prepositions of time, there are prepositions of place or direction, there are prepositions of manner, but today I want us to solve or to discuss prepositions of time and place. We are having about. They're saying about is one of the time prepositions. About, after, at, by, in, on. These are confusing prepositions. They fall under prepositions of time. When making an example of the preposition of time, about mean approximately, and then after the game, after lunch, after 3, after, like that and like that. And then at 5 o'clock, at last. Remember, at last means finally or means finally. And then by midnight. By midnight means or mean not later than. When I say by midnight, not later than midnight. And then for an hour, it's duration now. Remember, we are under prepositions of time. In, the preposition in. Remember, I said we are looking at the usage, how we use prepositions of time. In the morning. You see? So, in April, and like that, and like that. So we are going to prepositions of place or direction. We are having around, at, down, from, in, inside, off, on, through, to, up, with. It's prepositions of, or they are prepositions of place or direction. Then the usage. Around as a preposition. She walked around the car. You see? At, preposition at. They are at home. Or he smiled at her or at me. And then preposition down. They lived down the hall. Preposition from. The house is 1 mile from here. Preposition in. He lives in a trailer. We waited in the bus. And then preposition inside. Put it inside the house. And then preposition of. We moved south of the mountain. And then preposition on. We sat on the table. We sat on the train. And then preposition through. They drove through or through the tunnel. Preposition to. Give it to me. Remember, we are looking at the usage of these prepositions. And then up. Preposition up. He walked up the mountain. Preposition with. He went with me. Those are the prepositions that we are having. So this is our conclusion, guys, as in our next tutorial, we are going to dwell on the prepositions of manner and other things. Remember, we are on grammar. Grammar, we said it is the set of rules in language. So thank you, guys.